damn glasses just fell off the back of my head. In 3, 2, 1. Hey, it's Big T. Welcome to the first, episode of Big T's Rambles. Is It Still Good? My friend Megan, whatever her last name is here. And she picked off my movie list, High Fidelity. So why'd you pick High Fidelity?
Because you told me to pick a movie I'd never seen before. And I hadn't seen it before.
And what else did you tell me why you picked it?
And it's John Cusak.
John Cusak.
I love John Cusak.
Alright, so High Fidelity came out in 2000 in March, premiering at South by Southwest on the 17th, and then nationwide on the 31st, which makes, at the time of this recording, the movie is 21 years old. You can drink.
We're old.
That's what I want for this. I want older movies that my friends haven't seen. I was 25 when that movie came out, and it spoke to me a lot, especially because various things in the movie, which we'll get to. But we're just going to kind of go over what the movie's about and Megan's impressions. And ultimately, is it still a really good movie, or is it just my nostalgia? Because that's the whole point of this series. Alright, so the movie does star John Cusak, who I'm a huge fan of. Of course, you've got Grosse Pointe Blank, you've got War, Inc., you've got one of my favorite movies ever in Say Anything, you've got Better Off Dead, you've got One Crazy Summer, you've got The Grifters. What's your favorite John Cusak movie?
Oh, I'd say Better Off Dead or Say Anything.
Better Off Dead or Say Anything.
And his newer one, the horror, was it 313?
Oh, Room 214 or something like that.
Yeah.
And then he's also in that thriller one. I'm going to have to come up with the name on later on. I'll put the name right here, where he's one of 9 personalities, and it's really a serial killer.
Yeah,
Oops, spoiler! If you haven't seen that movie, maybe I won't put the name there since I spoiled it. But anyway, he's got a great host of work and stuff. One of my favorite actors. So when this came out, it was a no-brainer for me. The same reason you just gave. I went and saw it because it was a John Cusak movie. This is also what I think is the star-making turn for Jack Black. Jack Black had been in plenty of films before this. You'd be surprised. At one point in time, we used to say that Jack Black was in every film if you just looked hard enough. But he's fantastic in this, if you ask me. I think you were kind of annoyed with him a little bit, maybe.
I'm not a Jack Black fan.
Yeah, that's okay. You don't have to. In this movie, he's great. He's fantastic. We also get a small appearance by Catherine Zeta-Jones, who you pointed out does not age, because this movie is 21 years old, and I think she still looks pretty much
exactly the same.
Lily Taylor's in this movie, who I like because you might know her more recently from that horror movie where she's in the basement, she claps, and the hands clap next to her. The Conjuring. You probably know from The Conjuring. But she's also a Say Anything vet, and I like the fact that they were kind of reunited in that aspect as a Say Anything thing. Sarah Gilbert's got a smaller part in it, too. I'm always a big fan of hers.
Joan Cusak.
And, of course, Joan Cusak.
Hey, Liz.
Hey, Rob. You...
Like their 8th film together, and I think they made like 2 more since. And these guys have made a ton of films together, John and Joan. As I pointed out to you too, there's a funeral scene where their real life father is the pastor, which is kind of a neat little tidbit I picked up off the internet, not my own information. Alright, so if you've never seen High Fidelity, it is a story of a man who is living in Chicago. It's based off a novel that was set in London, but then for the movie they moved it to Chicago. He's a record store owner and former DJ. And he is in the process of breaking up with his girlfriend. Would you say that's accurate?
Yeah.
And throughout the movie, it's about why his relationships keep failing. A lot of the things. See, so we're going to kind of cut, and I'm going to work it back in.
Is this going to be on the blooper reel?
Yeah, there'll be eventually a blooper reel, a big, long blooper reel of all this stuff. So, I think some of the key elements of the movie that stick out to it is, one, the breaking of the fourth wall. I'm sure as you noticed. Please don't let me take you for your watch.
It kept vibrating. I had to look.
He breaks the fourth wall a lot. He addresses the audience, and pretty much he is the narrator to you. He explains to you his thought process and what's going on in the movie throughout the movie. I really like that feature. I think it works well in this movie. Not in all movies, but it does in this movie. Secondly, there's the consistent top 5 list. From top 5 ex-girlfriends to top 5 movies. Jack Black, he brings up top 5 death songs. There's a top 5 track 1 of an album. Top 5 things he liked about his ex-girlfriend. Throughout the movie, everything's a top 5 list. And of course, it's heavily influenced by music because it's a record store thing. One of my favorite characters in the movie, just because she reminds me, especially at the time, and now even more so a year later, is Lisa Bonet, plays a musician. Marie LaSalle, forgive me if I've gotten that name wrong. I just watched the movie.
D-Sal.
D-Sal, I probably messed that up. But they captured the spirit, I think, of a young, independent female artist, which I have met so many times in my life.
Yes.
And I mean it in a positive way. Seattle, you know who you are. I think that really sounded home to me, and then later on in life, others. But really, really, Lisa Bonet. I think it was my favorite character in the movie, outside of John Cusak, of course. What about you? Who was your favorite character of the movie?
Ooh. I don't know. I think I liked Dick. Aside from John Cusak, just because he was a little quirky, that didn't always fit in everywhere, relatable to me.
Got the girl there in the store one day.
Yeah.
Again, spoilers if you haven't seen the movie. We're going to discuss spoilers along the way. I'll probably go back and put that in closer to the beginning.
Disclaimer. Don't be mad.
So yeah, I think Dick's a very likable character. My favorite is when they're having the fantasy about beating the crap out of Ray.
And he hits him with the phone.
Played by the great Tim Robbins. He smacks him in the face with the phone, and then the little bitty small scrawny dude pulls a whole AC out of the wall and smashes him in the head with it on the ground. It's not a real scene, but that's my favorite part of the Dick character in that movie is that fantasy fight scene there. Overall, if you had to pick a scene, what scene do you think probably was your favorite?
I think The Rain. John Cusak in The Rain. And he was calling from the sidewalk.
The payphone.
The payphone on the sidewalk. Under Ray's hotel. Or not hotel. Apartment. I don't know. It's just raw and emotional and...
This movie has a lot of Say Anything callbacks to me. From Lily Taylor to that payphone scene she just mentioned. One of my favorite scenes is in Say Anything is when he's on the payphone leaving a message for Corey, played by Lily Taylor. See how it all circles around. And he tells her maybe she hasn't figured out if you start off kind of depressed, then everything's a pleasant surprise. So something about John Cusak in The Rain payphone. Again, this movie was in 2000, so payphones did exist for you kids who don't know what that is.
Back when movies were good.
Google. So for me, I think one of my favorite scenes is when he's on the phone with John Cusak and he finds out there's a guy named Ian, and then they run in there and tell him that Lisa Bonet's character's in the store, and he kind of freaks out.
Rob, Marie LaSalle is in the store.
Again, I think that was kind of relatable.
He's carrying around her picture.
Carrying around her picture in his hand, and someone that you don't even know but you admire a lot, and then all of a sudden they're in front of you, it kind of freaks you out. Again, younger me, maybe even older me.
I mean, she looks exactly the same.
Yeah, Lisa Bonet looks fantastic in the movie.
You have to fight Jason Momoa, though.
You would have to fight Jason Momoa, and I wouldn't want to do that, even if he is Aquaman, and Aquaman sucks.
He sees this and comes for you. That's on
Hey, if Jason
I had
Momoa
no
sees
part of
this,
that.
Jason Momoa wants to show up, as long as he can film it, I'll have a discussion with him. Jason Momoa is awesome. Let me put it on the record officially. Jason Momoa is awesome in everything he does. I really like her character. I wish the movie had fleshed out, if there's one disappointment I have, I wish they had fleshed out her character a little bit more. I think to have such a talented actress, especially at that point in her career, like I said, it was the year 2000, so this probably made this movie in 1999 when they filmed it. Again, the whole cast is really, really good in this movie. Like I said, you've got Tim Robbins, you've got Lisa Bonet, you've got Catherine Zeta-Jones, you've got Jack Black, you've got John Cusak. There's just a lot of really talented people in this movie. Ironically, we were discussing the female lead. It's not someone I'd ever heard of before, and looking at her IMDb, I wasn't familiar with anything else she'd ever done.
It's all foreign.
I think she was Danish, if I think that was correct. If I'm not mistaken, I think she's a Danish actress, and this is like one of her few American movies. She was great. I think she played the role well too.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, I've never heard of her and never heard of her since then. But that happens sometimes, Irony Sky. We come along, we play a great character, then we're never heard from again. So let's go to the main character, Rob. What do you think of the John Cusak character, Rob? A lot of people who watch this movie relate to him because they feel he's an asshole. They feel he's the root of all his own problems, which I think he is. Do you think he's a likable character?
I think so. I think he's relatable to a lot of people. Like, I could relate to him on some stuff. Not the complete asshole part, but a lot of the other things I could relate to him on, like the relationships ending and why, and just life.
So the character does struggle with his current relationship and looks back on his previous relationships all the way back to the 7th grade, I think he says.
His 6-hour-long relationship.
6-hour-long relationship. We've all been there. Actually, I haven't. I didn't have that kind of relationship with anyone in 7th grade. That's just me. But the character is, I think, a little self-destructive, but like you said, relatable, because I think we've all done that in our past, where we've had a good thing going on, and for some other reason we mess it up. Mm-hmm. I don't think he's. I think he's asshole-ish. I think he's off-putting a little bit. Yeah. But like I said, it's relatable, so I think that's why the character works so well, and it's being played by John Cusak, so you can't really.
You can't not like him.
Again, in a lot of his mannerisms, when he speaks to the camera, when he breaks the fourth wall, again, this is a very throwback to Say Anything for me. I feel a lot of Lloyd Dobler in there, and the way he rationalizes things, the way he talks to himself and tries to justify what's going on. I think it's a good character. And I think it's what makes the movie work. What else do you like about the movie?
You pre-printed questions.
I know, and really, see, in the future, folks, I'm going to have so anyone who's watching this one is like, man, y'all are all over the place. Yes, I will do.
Fine. I'm glad I could be the first one to be all
pre-printed questions next time.
It's fine. I'll be the test dummy here for this.
Keep waiting for Sam to walk out in his underwear to the bathroom, but he's just not doing it. Waiting on you, Sam. Where are you?
Sam to make the appearance.
But yeah, what else did you like about the movie? I mean, I assume, okay, overall, we don't do a scale of 1 to 10 stars, or 5 stars, whatever you want to call it, because this is Big T Rambles. So, on a scale of 1 to 5 T's, 1 being the lowest T, 5 being the highest T, what would you give the movie? Off your initial viewing?
I think I would give it 4-ish.
Why is that?
I think some of the parts drug on just a little bit too long. And it, like, there were some spots where I was like, okay, come on. What's going to happen now? But that's just me with most movies anyway. But other than that, good storyline, good acting.
I'm going to agree with her. I gave it 4 out of 5 T's for the same thing. I think there's just moments in the movie where it kind of drags on. Mm-hmm. But I guess for me, I just feel like it drags in certain spots and lulls. And I think...
Well, there was I don't think the spot where him having thoughts about that editor, not the editor. What did she do? The
columnist?
The columnist. That's what I was thinking of. I don't think that part really needed to be in there, where he was thinking about having feelings for her. I think they could have just left that part of it out. Meet her and, put this whole thing together and have her there, but do we really need to kind of have thoughts that he was going to leave the girlfriend again?
Yeah, I thought that was a little forced at the end as well. Mm-hmm. I also didn't like, personally, not until I didn't think it was realistic that it took the girlfriend 18 trips to get all of her stuff out of the apartment, and that she would be so friendly and cordial when she came by to get her stuff.
I would have personally broken something.
Like, when she's like reading the list, the top 5 dream jobs, and she's laughing, and they're just, even though earlier she'd had a moment where she's like, I don't want this to be the last conversation on the phone with you, and he's like, you know it is, and he hangs up. I wouldn't go into the next conversation with, oh yeah, that's funny, those are my dream jobs, please don't read them. I'd be like, get your F and get out. I mean, maybe that was just me, but... Yeah. So parts like that I thought were a little uneven in the film, but overall I think it's a really, really good film. It is on my list of favorite films. It's probably 3rd on my list of John Cusak movies. Ooh, top 5 John Cusak movies. Go. Of course, number 1 is Say Anything. Without question, hands down, it's Say Anything. Number 2 is probably Better Off Dead. I know that's an 80s cheesy comedy, but the kid with the newspaper and I want my $2, and that's just so classic, and the ski ramp and his imagination there. After that, I'm probably going to go The Runaway Juror. Is a drama with Gene Hackman and Rachel Weisz and Dustin Hoffman. It's a really, I haven't seen that one. Watch that. It's a really, really good movie. Of course, Grosse Point Blank. You've got to put up there. With Jeremy Piven. Surprisingly, Jeremy Piven wasn't in this movie with him. That's his other buddy outside of Lily Taylor. Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil. It's him. It's Kevin Spacey. That's a really great movie.
Kevin Spacey's good too.
Yeah, Kevin Spacey is again, separate the actor from the acting, or whether the art from the artist. Kevin Spacey is a very talented actor in that movie as well. John Cusak, again, big fan. More of his earlier work and stuff. So yeah, there's my top 5 John Cusak movies. You have Say Anything, you have Better Off Dead, you have Runaway Juror, you have Grosse Point Blank. Even though there are a lot of other superb movies he's been in, I think he's one of the most talented actors of my lifetime.
I'd agree.
So overall on this movie, was it good?
Or was it good?
It was good. Okay, so it's not just my nostalgia. This movie holds up. This movie at the time of this filming is 21 years old. I cannot believe this movie's that old. I really thought this movie came out in 2010.
I couldn't even drive yet when this movie came out.
Yeah, I was 25.
I was 15.
46. But anyway, so great film. If you haven't seen it, we kind of spoiled a lot of it for you to a degree, but I really make it recommend you watch it anyway. But I appreciate you guys watching. I don't know if I have enough people to say you should hit that subscribe button wherever it is. So we'll go to the part where we cut, and then I go, Megan, thank you so much for editing's fun. Thank you so much for coming out and being the first person to do one of my Big T Ramble movie reviews. Is it still good? This was the first one. I promise it'll be better with quality, sound, and everything in the future. Although we have an awesome light.
It's blinding.
And this camera was not cheap, so hopefully the ceiling fan that I just realized was on was not too noisy in the shot. So thanks so much, everybody, and we will see you next time.